Well, I'll tell you as soon as I import these other three pictures. All right. Let's talk about the Ignite Church for a minute. Where did they get this name? Somebody sent me this, and I thought it was very, very interesting. Here's a photograph. This is from Walmart, their pharmaceutical department. You see the Walmart logo, and you see the... now, this is really... I just now picked up on this. You see the pestle inside the cup? That is the blade and the chalice. That is the sword and the cup. That is the male and the female. It's like the cross and the crown symbol. I want you to notice the Walmart sun logo symbol with 3 up and 3 down. And then I want you to notice that it says, I put the spark in healthcare. What is, pray tell, I thought I added this. Hang on. What is the divine spark? Come on, help me out here. Here we go. What is the divine spark? I'm glad you asked that question. I have a thing here. I'm going to pull it up here. I pulled this from the Wikipedia website. It says the idea most common to Gnosticism, but also present in most Western mystical traditions. Mystic Christianity. I want you to think about that. Such as Kabbalah, which I highly suspect the Hebrew roots movement is leading people into Kabbalah. That's what I highly suspect. Such as Kabbalah, Sufism, which is Islam, that all of mankind contains within itself the divine spark of God, which is contained or imprisoned in the body. In these cosmologies, the purpose of life is to enable the divine spark to be released from its captivity in matter and reestablish its connection with or simply return to God, who is perceived as being the source of the divine light. If you saw all 3 of the Matrix movies, you get it. This whole language here is Neo is the imprisoned one. And he needs to be released so he can go back to the source. And when you hear these people, when you hear Bill Johnson, when you hear these people doing the sozos, when you hear people in the charismatic or Pentecostal church, when you hear these weirdos start talking about you have it within you, you need to release God. I release this on you. They believe that there's something in them that's imprisoned, and it needs to be let out. That's the divine spark. That's where this doctrine comes from. Here is, let's see here. I need another graphic here. Here's what this is a book that I saw online earlier. It's called The Alchemy of Fire, Libido and the Divine Spark. Now, that's interesting. Libido, of course, is, the Bible word for that is lust. Lust of the flesh. And the divine spark. You see the phoenix symbol. The phoenix is rising up out of the ashes. That's what the divine spark represents. So, the divine spark essentially is the beast that's in prison, and he needs to be let out. He's in the flames. We gotta have a full flame going. Shofar was telling me that in the sozo room, they always are constantly referring to the fire, fire, fire. Release the fire. The fire's got to come out. Everything is about fire to these people, and the fire is within, and it's just a little spark, and it needs to be ignited and brought to full-blown flame. That's what Dan Brown was teaching in the Da Vinci Code, because if you remember from the Da Vinci Code, Sophie, the heroine of the film and the book, caught her grandfather in a group fornication thing, where her grandfather was performing a ritual with another woman in order to release the God that was in them. They believe that through this ritual that you can have this God released. You're going to have your third eye open. You're going to have these experiences. You're going to have laughter. You're going to have all this stuff that we just saw that these people are a part of. And I want to tell you something. When you reject the real gospel of Christ, this is what you deal with. This is what you got. And they use terms like Jesus, God, Holy Spirit. They use those terms, but they have no idea what they're talking about. Somebody sent me an email I want to see if I can find it. And I know it just seems like I'm just flying around the room here. I probably won't be able to find it. And I apologize for that. Anyway, this divine spark has got to come out of you. I got one more graphic here to show everybody. And it is this one. Here we go. You remember this movie? The Morgan Freeman movie. No, it was called Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty. And it's about a guy who gets to become God. And it's supposed to be funny. But here's the thing. In this movie, Morgan Freeman, who is God, Morgan Freeman explains to Bruce, you know, something that you humans just don't understand. All you humans have a divine spark in you. You've got the potential to be God. Genesis chapter 3. Now, he didn't say that, but that's what that is. It's the lie that you can become God. You've got it in you. Now we need to let it out. It's imprisoned. It's confined. It's in a chamber. We need to let this spark ignite. That's what the Ignite Church is. They have abandoned the Scriptures. They have walked away from the real Spirit of God, the holy, clean Spirit of God. They've walked away from these things, chasing down drunken spirits, chasing down experiences, chasing down sozo, chasing down self-interpretations of what they think is going to happen, putting themselves up as, boy, these are the big teachers now, listen to them, they've got the goods, they've got all the good information. They didn't get it from the Bible. Anyway, let me read some emails. Maybe I'll settle down a little bit. Eric writes this in. This is sort of at the bottom of the list. Hold on. I'm sorry for this. Let me do this anyway. There's some more emails that Sarah's walking in, and I want to cover this just to make sure that I'm not off base when it comes to Skiba and some of these other guys. Sarah writes in the interview here. I think I've already read that. She said, I will add lastly, Pastor, ask Skiba himself about the Sozo wedding. He's not shy about it. He is not at all shy about his associations with the prophetic movement. I realize it's my word, but I will not say it's my words against him because he has never denied it to my knowledge. And that is why I say ask him yourself. And she talks about that he has a thing on YouTube, an analogy of Rocky Balboa, the movie, being a picture of Jesus and Apollo being the Antichrist. Okay, and that apparently is on YouTube. So Sarah, I appreciate all this information. I don't like being negative like this. But when it comes up, and I'll be honest with you, I am zealous. I'm like Paul. I'm zealous and jealous over you with a godly jealousy. I don't want people who want to believe in God and want people to believe the Bible to fall for anybody's false doctrine. I don't care if it's mine. I don't care if it's a best friend of mine. And I had, at one time, a good friend that we had this similar background. We loved the Scriptures and everything. He had me come to his church and do a seminar on the King James Bible for his teenagers. Next thing I know, he's starting up a church here in town that's all about rock music and experiential Christianity, preaching out of false Bibles. He even slicked his hair down so he could look cool. And this guy was my friend. And as soon as he did it, I came out against it on the Watchman broadcast. It was like the first year we started doing this. And it's not that I'm just looking for people to tattle on, but I don't like false doctrine. And I've been down these roads before, and I'm telling you what's down there, and I'm warning you, don't go down the road. Don't fall for the Hebrew roots. Don't fall for the sacred name people. Don't fall for the seventh day. Don't fall for anything that will not take a strong stand on the King James Bible. Don't fall for this stuff. Catherine writes in and says, I'm part of your online congregation and have chosen you as my pastor, and I was a member of a Messianic synagogue for 3 years. And she said, I'm not Jewish. During that time, we celebrated the feast and had Bible study at the Shabbat service. We were taught from Torah and the prophets as well as the New Testament. We were never taught that the KJV was corrupt, and we stayed away from Kabbalah because of the mysticism it represents. I'm afraid the Hebrew roots people have it all wrong. Thank you for all you do. And Catherine, I appreciate that, because one of the things that I've been saying all along is that I don't think that everyone who is of a Messianic persuasion, I don't think they're all bad. But here's the rub. It's hard for people to discern. And once they get hooked into one of these groups, it's almost too late for them. They start believing the lies. They start believing that you have to do these things. I mean, you show up to the meeting and they say, well, how did you spend your Rosh Hashanah? Well, I went shopping at Walmart. Me and the husband went fishing. You mean you didn't participate in Rosh Hashanah? And it's almost like they're going to chastise this person over this thing, and then it starts coming out that, well, maybe you're really not saved because you didn't do this stuff. And I don't, again, Catherine, I'm not saying that your group believed that, and I appreciate the stand that you took on the King James Bible. But there are enough of these groups out there. Now they're being led by prominent people who are going to the conferences, and they're dangerous, deadly dangerous. And I can't apologize for that. Anyway, where was I? Hello, Pastor Mike. I need you and your listeners' prayer for my nieces. They are freshmen at Olivet Nazarene University, and one of them posted this on Facebook tonight at Parlor. It was a service of quietness and meditation to reflect on the Lord. Honestly, at first, I felt really uncomfortable. I'm so used to noise around me and constant movements that being in a room where everyone was still and quiet felt weird. But in the quietness, I realized something, that because of my busy schedules and other distractions around me, I did not give God the amount of time I should. I'm so distracted by other things that I rarely take intentional time with God like I should. I now know why this verse, Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God, is so important. God doesn't need us, but He wants us. He has things He wants to say to us if we take time to listen. And that's a quote that she's giving from her nieces who attend Olivet Nazarene. Now, if you know anything about the Nazarene movement, they have almost totally, them and their universities, turned over to the contemplative style. And so Eric says, please pray for them that they come out of this junk. Their mom reads the King James Bible but goes to a Nazarene church. I'm not sure what they stand for or believe. I sent them your message on the mystery of contemplative prayer, but they have to watch it. God bless, Eric, and I appreciate that. Let's see here. Tracy said, I just want to tell you that the school system I work at is filled to the brim with Harry Potter and Warriors and Twilight books. And there are several other books that are full of witchcraft and warlocks. The kids eat it up. I'm a Christian, and it bothers me so much. There is a lot of Agenda 21 issues in our school also. It makes me wonder if I should even work here. I pulled my child out to homeschooler. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that it's rampant in our school. Tracy, I appreciate that. Let's see here.